Okay, so today we're going to do something that is affectionately referred to as a mountain problem. Why is it called a mountain problem? Because it's frequently used to measure the height of mountains. So here's my scenario. This is going to be the height of my mountain. We'll call it, we'll call it a mistake. We'll call it H. And you can imagine that that was actual mountain. There's no easy way to measure a mountain. It's not like if I asked you to measure the flagpole outside where you could just climb up the flagpole and drop a measuring stick or a measuring tape. So this mountain's going to have a huge height. It's not going to have a vertical distance to measure, so we can do some weird calculations here. Okay, and the calculations go like this. So I back up way far away from the mountain to this point B. And I can measure the angle of elevation from B up to the top of the mountain. So let's suppose I make that 37 degrees, okay? So I'm standing on some road. I'm some distance away from the mountain. But I don't know how far I am to the base of the mountain because you can't see the base of the mountain. It's buried under the mountain. So then I back up. And I back up 1.5 miles. And then I remeasure the angle of elevation to the top of the mountain. That angle there. So before I tell you how big that angle is, I'm going to ask you a question. Is that angle going to be bigger or smaller than 37? Smaller? Bigger? I got both answers. Which one is it? Smaller. Okay, good. And in fact, it turns out to be 25 degrees. All three of those measurements, 2 angles and a distance, are easily measured without having to climb an entire mountain. And now I want to be able to calculate how tall that mountain is. So one assumption we're going to make is that this is in fact a right triangle. Maddie, how many pictures in that, or sorry, how many pictures in that triangle? That was dumb. How many triangles in that picture? No. 3. 1. Can I get a 4? 4, 6, 12. How many?
3.
There are 3. Of those 3 triangles, how many of them are right triangles? Just keep shouting out numbers. How many are right triangles? 2, correct. The big one, the one with the 37-degree angle, and then that other one over there on the side is not a right triangle. We don't know how to work with right triangles, so we're just going to forget about that one. Yes, that's correct. Right? Good? All right, excellent. One thing I don't know is how long this distance is, so I'm going to call it x. And that's not something I can measure because it's buried underneath the mountain. So I'm going to calculate it. All right, everybody with me so far? Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to take this and shrink it a little bit, move that up in the corner so we can get some working room here. Okay, so yellow triangle. We're going to start with that one. Looking at just the yellow triangle, what equation could you write for the yellow triangle? Well, this is awkward. Okay.
You can find the complementary angle to 37.
I could, but we don't have to, and we're not going to.
Okay.
Because I don't want to complicate things. You'll see what I mean when we get into the calculation. So what I want is just to calculate, or sorry, I just want an equation, a trig equation for that yellow triangle. What would that trig equation be in that yellow triangle? Up there on the board. Over by there. Audrey. Awesome. Tangent of 37 degrees is equal to h over x. Audrey, can I solve that problem? No, two variables. If I have two variables, I can't solve it. I need a second equation. Okay. So let's get, no, we don't go with that. Let's go with, we'll use blue. Now we look at the big triangle. What trig equation do we get from the blue triangle? Oh, as a sidebar, by the way. How long is that? Hi.
Hi. And Natalie, is she here?
She is.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nate, how long is that blue area?
15 plus that.
That's a 1.5. Okay, but yes, you're right. 1.5 plus x. Okay, knowing that, what equation do we get for the blue triangle? Great. Say again, I'm sorry. So close. You screwed up on one small thing. Tangent of what? Bingo. Is that blue equation, the darker blue equation, solvable? No, two variables. But now I have two equations. And this is where the fun begins. Here we go. This might make some of you cry.
No.
Any problems?
Yes.
Of course not. Better not be. Look, both equations equal h. Oh, that's beautiful. Therefore, they're equal to each other. Ooh, how many variables in that last equation? One. Therefore, you can solve it. Well, I can solve it. I don't know if you can. Here we go. X times the tangent of 37, the distributive property. Notice I am not typing the tangent of 37 into my calculator, nor am I typing in the tangent of 25. I'm leaving it as is. Basic rule of algebra. If I'm solving for a variable, get them all on one side. Factor out an x. Anybody crying yet? Yes? It's okay. Tissue are over there. And last but not least, divide.
What's the lotto?
Okay, type that into your calculator and tell me what you get. Be careful with parentheses. Excuse my reach.
Everyone know what you got.
0.9.
Scale. I'm gonna take the story.
Okay, so everybody's getting different answers, so let's talk about the calculator. First of all, whether you want to or not, the calculator is going to automatically put a parentheses there, there, and there. You have no choice in the matter. If you don't close those parentheses, then the calculator thinks that everything following it is also being taken the tangent of. Therefore, whoop-bam, whoop-bam, whoop-bam. Also, notice that your denominator has a minus sign in it. Therefore, this should also have parentheses on it. Try that again. By the way, you can just go to second enter, and the last thing you type in will pop up.
I got 2.4.
My text are smart though, so I ain't even use it. I stored them as variables. Yeah. Oh, whoa.
I got 2.4.
No, that's the law to do with this. I have no idea, but I'm assuming it's going to go right there. Dude, it's so long. This is so long. It's not all that complicated. Oh, really?
Watch that ring.
Is this not fine?
Yeah.
Michael, I don't even
Oh, he's still working. Did you get it?
I already got it.
Oh, good.
I got
28.9.
Yep.
This is just one part of the problem. Do what's on the board, right next to it.
Okay, so One of the reasons why we didn't type in the tangent 25 and the tangent 37 too early is because as we continue to do calculations, it's going to make our error bigger and bigger. Therefore, I don't want any error. The other thing you should do is once you get that answer, store that somewhere. Where? Well, I try store it into x because it's x. Does that mean the mountain is 2.43 miles high?
No.
Lena, why not?
Because that's the big.
Yeah, that's that distance from where I started to the base of the mountain. What the problem is asking for is h. How do I find h? Martha?
I was gonna say Pythagorean.
You could. Too much work. Don't know enough information. Easier method. It's right there. Tangent of 37 is equal to h over that answer that you stored, 2.43. So I'd come over to my calculator and I would go that times the tangent of 37. And it turns out that that mountain is 1.83 miles high. There's my final calculation. Okay? Problems? Excellent. You try one now.
Oh, no.
Do you have
I don't
scissors?
know about that.
Does someone have scissors?
No, I can't afford scissors.
Oh, I just like drip it.
I know, I do too.
Like somewhere down
These ones are like stuck. My name is gonna be good.
I don't even think I own it. I don't know myself.
Like you're like 15?
I don't think I have it.
Go!
Like I have something like 15.
Oh no. That's equal.
What do you got?
I made a rectangle.
This is not.
By the way, you're going to be turning this problem in, so make sure you do it on a separate document, or at least, well, you don't have to do it, you just may have to turn in the whole document so I can find it.
No.
And it needs to be correct. I know. Silly me expecting you to do it correctly.
Do you want a vase?
What?
Do you want a vase?
Raise?
Yeah.
No. Why would I want to raise? That's a horrible idea. I'm in.
He said it wasn't just for you guys.
Is this the You made like a bowling ball sound.
So can I just plug in X and say this is a...
I don't know.
You should.
You get like a